the problem that we found was that sports fans have a really disjointed experience where they're visiting multiple apps across multiple platforms. Particularly the more teams and athletes that you like, the more difficult it is to find relevant information about all of that quickly. So SportLobster in a nutshell brings all of those different elements, every sports app that you have on your phone, into one place, whether it's the social side of things, the Twitter and Facebook. We have all of those same aspects in our platform, but we also have the live fixture results, the headline news. You can write blogs, you can make predictions. So it's really almost a one-stop shop for sports fans. So it's taking everything that's on your iPhone and putting it into one place. I would. Our investors may not, but you know, it depends how you define a startup. You know, I think the ability to move very quickly is what a startup really at its core is. You know, we like to think of decisions being made in minutes and hours as opposed to weeks and months. So, you know, because we're still able to do that, I would say that yeah, we're still a startup. It's the best thing I've ever did, for sure. It's incredibly challenging at times, and I think it's good to have. It's vital to have the right people around you. The biggest challenge with any startup is money. You know, we don't generate revenue, so all we do is spend other people's money creating our vision. Now we do have plans to generate revenue, but you know, fortunately we've found investors that share the vision that we have. The lowest points, we've had several of them. You know, it's not uncommon for us. Fortunately, not anymore. But in the early days, you wouldn't know if you were going to be able to pay people's salaries at the end of the month, and there's 3 days left and you haven't got any money. You know, that's very, very stressful. That would say it's our lowest point, but it's also, you know, can be the highest point when you do get that sorted out. I mean, it's a roller coaster with any new business. No, you know, failure's not good. You know, and everybody wants to succeed, but failing quickly can be very positive. If you fail quickly, you can change quickly, and then inevitably you end up learning more than you would have done before, and actually the success can then be even greater than it was before. The only real danger to any business is failing slowly. If you fail slowly, then you're in trouble. It will drain everything out of you personally, and the business will definitely fail. If you fail quickly and you act quickly enough, it can be the best thing that ever happened. I think it's important, but I think it can be overstated. Fortunately, my co-founder Andy Meikle is a much better networker than I am, so he tends to go and do most of that. But I think there's a fine line. You know, ultimately you have to deliver what you say you're going to deliver, regardless of how many good contacts you've got. If you don't do the hard work and get the product right and get the message out there, you know, in the right channels as opposed to just going to tech events and talking to people, then I don't think it works. Having said that, some of the best things that have happened to us have been from people that we've met, and on an individual basis, really creating relationships, I think, is crucial. You know, general networking to hundreds of people, you know, I think the impact of that is you know, unproven. Any pitch, I think it's finding out what they're really after, what their hot buttons are. You know, explaining where you've come from, where you are now, where you're going, and getting them to buy into that. You know, any investor is out to make money, but there's also an emotional part of that decision. You know, they need to like you first and foremost, otherwise they won't do business with you. And if they like you and they like the product and they believe where you're going, then I think you can probably do a deal with them. Don't give up. You know, it's very easy to get for people to say, oh, it's a great idea and you should go and do it, it's a very different proposition to get someone to put money into that and make that a reality. But if you want it enough and you believe in it enough, then you can make it happen. And if you don't, then it won't. It's down to the people that are doing it, nobody else around them. Michael Owen was the first one that really stood behind us, and he gave us a huge amount of credibility going to everybody else. It's actually we only really have a handful of actual ambassadors, but we have over 200 verified athletes on the site. So the vast majority have joined it organically with no conversation with us. They've just either been recommended the platform and started using it, or have just found it organically themselves, or seen another athlete's post, for example. So it's been very useful. Cristiano Ronaldo has had a huge effect. We now have an enormous amount of Real Madrid fans on the platform that we didn't have 6 months ago. He brings us huge credibility in every commercial conversation that we go in as well. But it's the ones that have joined organically that really give us credibility.